Welcome back to FR UK Rugby, your home of French rugby in the UK and across the English-speaking world, with live coverage of Pro D2 all next season, every single Thursday night, every single game week. But the focus on this video is on the international game and a non-test international match between England and France. So an opportunity for some rotations, for some changes, maybe some next-gen players that are going to break through, and a little glimpse from a French perspective about which players might make it onto the plane to New Zealand for that 3-test series while the top 14 semi-finals are underway, which we will, by the way, be covering on another video. Joe Worsley, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, it's an interesting kind of France A team, isn't it?
It is. Before I get onto that, I just want to ask you a question, actually, because at the moment, and a lot of the England players that could have played against France are involved in the British and Irish Lions. What are your memories of this first week or two of the tour before you actually get on the plane, but you just get to know each other? How much is the boozing a part of it, and how much is the playing a part of it? How does it work?
Everyone's very serious still, so there's no out and out boozing per se. But yeah, we have certainly. There's a night where you go for it. I think the Welsh boy, Mike Phillips, certainly went for it. To be fair, and Andy Powell. But yeah, they had a few. We were meant to go sailing actually, and then when they heard they were going sailing, everyone just said no. Let's just stay in the bar, and we did at Pennyhill, which is a good call, I think. Had a few drinks, got to know each other a bit better, but still, you got your serious hat on, you're training, you make an impression. Everyone wants to get in that starting jersey for the test, so you're not going wild, put it that way. But it's important to let your hair down, enjoy the time together. I was sharing with Flannery, and I kind of knew him already, we were kind of friends, but he needed an operation on his shoulder after the Lions tour, and then he actually, in training, sadly injured his other shoulder. And then he went in for an immediate operation because it was bad enough, and he got them both operated on. And he came back to the room before we left for the tour like this, tied up like in a straitjacket. Yeah, I remember he married what is now his wife, luckily, because he couldn't obviously do anything with his arms. So he just met her. So it was a hell of a christening for their relationship. I think it's still together, so it worked out. But that's one of my memories of our meet-up points as well. It was good times.
Good. Right, well, I might pick your brain about that another time. But like I say, have a look at that. That is the France A squad that are going to be playing. Like I say, it's not a capped international match, so no world ranking points, no test caps being dished out for this one. But for some of these guys, a massive opportunity. Without the players that are at Bordeaux and at Toulouse and Bayonne and Toulon, there are some guys on the fringes, some names that won't be familiar. So who jumps off the page at you there, Joe?
Well, yeah, I think he kind of played really well in the Six Nations. Out the forwards, you've got to say him and Taufafina are players that are steady away. And Van Tonder for Perpignan is a good ball carrier. He strikes me as someone out the blue. I'd like to see what he's about. Wocky's been out in the cold for a while. Will he come back? Will he be able to fight his way back to be involved with the France team? He's behind a couple of players at the moment. Aradou's obviously already involved. Bamba's someone again coming back from injury. Getting Barlow's an older player, Cass Hooker going to Bordeaux. He's a backup guy for the incredible hookers they do have. So that pack's a real mix of some old talent and young potential. The young potential. I mean, Tixeron as well is another player. That'd be interesting watching him in that environment.
Yeah, I think that's what strikes me is you look at the pack and it feels a lot greener or a lot more that they've gone deeper down the depth chart with the players that are in the backs. You could cobble together an international class backline, albeit they wouldn't be the first choice for France, but they would all be guys that have pulled on that blue jersey and done well. So you could have a backline with Nolan Le Garrec starting, Antoine Hastoy at 10, centres of Gael Fickou and Emilien Gayton, Atis Ogbe on the wing, Leo Barret at fullback, and then take your pick on one of the new wingers. And that might be one of the interesting areas. There's a couple of new centres that are in the squad and a couple of guys on the wing. And which ones manage to muscle their way into the squad? That's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, exactly. I think out of that, I think having Duguvalu is interesting. He's really torn it up for Perpignan. He's such a strong ball carrier. He'll create things for your team. He brings some X factor. Be interested to see how it fits into international rugby, where if he's playing wing, positional play, kick play becomes vital. Not seeing him in that kind of intense spotlight before.
He's played quite a lot of centre as well for Perpignan as well, which is
he's big. He's big. He's tall.
Big guy.
Tall, rapid, good step. Very Fijian. Another Fijian, amazing Fijian coming out the woodwork. But I mean, he's been around a couple of years, to be fair. Mustat and Millet, I'm not really seeing much of them. They haven't stuck out like a sore thumb during the top 14 this year. Good moments. It'd be interesting for them to see how well they do. But yeah, when you look at that back line, you can immediately pick a starting 15 bar one or two positions. I think Hastoy or Berdu, that'd be an interesting choice. Hastoy was ahead of him, but he's not been on form this year, really, compared to how he was playing before. Mm-hmm. So with the 10s, I'm sure they'll have a look at both of them, because I think both of them probably will be to New Zealand anyway. But yeah, experimental in the back lines, not too much. Just Dugavalio, I think he'll play. Definitely. On the other wing, I don't know, who would you put on the other wing?
Mostan might be the guy that's going to come in there. Yeah, I mean, you could even put Gaeton on the wing and put Dugivalu in the centre, perhaps. I don't know, just options. It's going to be interesting. I think that's what's going to be quite cool for whichever one or two or three players come into the matchday squad out of the backs, is they're going to be around some really solid players. It feels a little bit scratch in the pack. Although I just want to jump back to the forwards a second, Joe. With our Pro de Dirt hat on, I know he's going to be going back to Toulouse for next season, which is his club, but he was on loan all year in Pro de Dirt, and we were raving about Paul Melez.
Yeah, he is one for the future. He'll be going back to Toulouse, like you say. Offloading, incredible offloading, good jackler, carries the ball, and his scrummage work was very good when I've seen him play. So yeah, he has been in a proving ground. It's interesting. You haven't got that in UK, have you? You haven't got that in England. You haven't got the ability to send the champ, which is good, which is a good environment. But it's not quite as intense as he experienced in the playoffs.
But he looked really good for Provence, who are they're spending the cash as well. By the way, Pro de Deux next season is going to be really, really, really interesting. But that's a different video altogether. But yeah, I think of all the names in the squad, Paul Melez is sort of the one that maybe has the highest ceiling out of the names that you might not know.
Yeah, definitely. I think Van Tonda, I like the look of him as well. He's played well for Perpignan, carries really well, creates opportunity, offloads. Perpignan play a really attractive kind of rugby. They realise they have to score to get anywhere, and yeah, they just stayed up by the skin of their teeth, but he's one of the reasons they stayed up. So it'd be interesting seeing him play. Tixron's a good player as well. I mean, it's going to be a find out what these guys are made of weekend for sure.
Yeah. As for England, I'll tell you what, have you seen the England squad, Joe? I could just, I can show it to you now. Yeah, I'll just be interested to get your perspective on it.
Kieran Bracken's son being involved.
Oh, no, that was in the previous training squad.
Oh, has he been cut now?
This is the updated one with the. I know there's a new squad every week. It's hard to keep up with, and this isn't the squad that's going to go to Argentina. By the way, this is just the team that are training this week and preparing to play against this France 15. But all the guys that were involved in the Premiership final are now back in the mix. So you've got you've got the 10 lads from Leicester and Bath back in. Is it just as you scan your eye down that? Is there any names that sort of excite you a little bit, or you'd be hoping get some rugby against France?
That's not so far from.
Yes, it's mad with the fact the Lions aren't there. It still feels really strong, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels stronger than the French one, that's for sure. Yeah, Guy Pep had an incredible final. I've seen him play once or twice, and yeah, he looks like he's a player. Surprised he hasn't been involved before. What is he now, 22, 23?
Yeah. Well, it's just they're so stacked there. And I think back row is where England could have a massive advantage over what we saw from France. We'll see on that. But Ted Hill is the one, Joe. I mean, he's a 6, which is a position really well. What do you make of Ted Hill? Because he looks like a player that if he was Welsh or Scottish or many other nationalities, he'd have 50 caps to his name by now.
Yeah, he's a kind of Tom Croft. He's kind of equivalent man in my era. Very quick, great line out forward area, and good in the wide channels. So yeah, he's the fastest in the Bath squad, for example, and Crofty was the same with Leicester. So an equivalent kind of player, you need those guys in the team. They give you balance. They give you, if your second row is a big, powerful, smashing stuff up, you want two players like that, you've got to have a Ted Hill or a Tom Croft in the back row. But yeah, it'd be good to watch him. Tom Willis getting some more game time under his belt. But yeah, that squad looks more like the squad. He's probably seizing every moment he can with his squad, making sure he maximises. Who's missing, basically? Who's missing from that you would say?
Well, just the British and Irish Lions. So Tom Curry, Alex Mitchell, Finn Smith, Marcus Smith, Ellis Genge. That's or Henry Pollock. That's what's his name? Tommy Freeman. So yeah, this is much closer to the England team that is going to tour to Argentina than the French team is, because obviously the top 14 is still going. So without Toulouse and Bordeaux, you'd have to make England pretty solid favourites to win in this game. But it's not all about the win on this one. There's a lot more to play for. But
yeah, I assume none of the players who played in that final will be playing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But
and how much rugby they played recently.
Yeah, and the fact that a lot of those Bath players probably only just finished celebrating just today, you would think so. In fact, I bet for a few of them it's still going on. So, yeah, so it's on. I mean, hey, look, we are obviously trailblazers and groundbreakers, and free rugby via the medium of the internet is all the rage at the minute, and this game is going to be streamed on Rugby Pass this weekend. So yeah, traditional broadcasters move over. It's all about the interwebs now, which is why you should hit subscribe on the channel so that you don't miss any of Pro D2 and all of the other French coverage, which will be coming your way in between the actual live matches as well here on FR UK Rugby. Nice one, Joe.